Welcome into the DNVR Rockies podcast brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Now when you use promo code DNVR, you'll get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a simple $5 bet any Sunday coming up this month. That's code DNVR only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. I am Patrick Lyons.
I'm Suzie Hunter. Patrick, I was watching before I left the house to come over here to do this podcast?
Teletubbies.
No. Joe Madden was on MLB Network talking about his new book. I can't decide if Joe Madden's okay or not. He was very disheveled looking.
That makes me want to read the book.
And the title of his book also makes me wonder,
is it that's about? I'm Not Okay?
No, it's The Book of Joe Trying Not to Suck at Baseball and Life, which is an interesting title for a book after you just got fired.
Yeah, no, I'm very interested in this, and I think he might have started working on it last year. Maybe he saw what was coming down the pipe.
Maybe he did.
I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe we can get him on the show, perhaps.
I'll text him.
I want to do off-season book reviews and things like that.
Are we starting a DNVR book club?
Maybe. I wouldn't mind that. Well, of course, we'd have to make sure we get some audiobooks in there. But we got a lot to cover today. We got our final Blaze Street Bombers. Basically, who are the top 5 players this year for our Colorado Rockies? Suzie, do you know that there are some new logos coming out for the Hartford Yard Goats? Have you heard about this?
I have.
Okay. Well,
you know I got the pulse on them goats.
Okay. We've got our end-of-year predictions. So we did it back in April, and let's see.
They're not end of year. Well, they're beginning of season predictions that we're looking back on. Can't really call them an end of year prediction.
Well, the end of year award predictions.
Yes. Okay, there we go.
But
I'm keeping you honest.
You are, and I do appreciate that. And then, of course, we'll get to the wild card series and the results from that. Had one last night, and the result may be surprising. It's going to create an interesting matchup in the division round, which we'll talk about tomorrow. But today,
that's tomorrow stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about the Blaze Street Bombers. Before we get to our list, I like to give out some honorable mentions.
You do. I'm looking at your list. I'm like, you've got almost as many honorable mentions as Bombers.
I know there's only a 26-man roster, and with honorable mentions, I did find a way to mention a couple Fresno Grizzlies. I don't know how I was able to squeeze them in, but I did it. No, honorable mentions.
Unhinged.
German Marquez, disappointing year, I think, for everything.
Yeah.
But all in all, did have a 5 ERA, so second lowest on the team among starters. The thing I think that was most important when looking at this entire 2022 team, he posted 31 times. Like, he pitched 31 times. Every time Bud Black handed him the ball, he went out there and did that job. Only Kyle Freeland was able to do that. So I think that has a lot of value, again, at least on this team that won 68 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Rockies were 16-15 in his starts too, so that was promising. And then over the final half of the season, his final 15 starts had a 4.12 ERA. So that was the Marquez we were hoping to see. Jose Iglesias, I think he only ended up playing 113 games, which I was surprised to see. Right, that's low. We know he was hurt for the last month or so. Alan Trejo was playing for a couple weeks. Tovar was there for the last week and a half. But I was surprised to see that number so low. But he contributed. He did really well all season long. Was a little bit shy of 300. Batted .292, 47 RBI.
He was pretty clutch on the road, too.
Great point. Yeah. For a while, he was potentially trying to get the record for highest batting average for a guy on the road, which I got to go back and check because when I did look in the Rockies game notes, they kept saying Mike Kingery was the guy who had the record, but he missed a lot of games, so he didn't play very much. So I'd be curious if we go ahead and we up that threshold, we could finagle away where Jose Iglesias then has that record. Randall Grichuk, a guy who, if you like wins above replacement, which I do, but that can hold a player's position against them. That doesn't really like Randall Grichuk in the outfield. But dude hit .259, hit 19 homers, third most on the team, 73 RBI, third most on the team, and he played 140 games. You know where that ranks?
Pretty high.
Third most on the team.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, really good. So he deserves a mention. And then finally, Tyler Kinley.
Tyler Kinley, if he didn't get hurt, this season would have been his.
Yeah. Yeah, I forget what the exact date was, but it was probably like just after the first 2 months of the season. That's it.
It was pretty early.
24 innings pitched, but did have a .75 ERA, so like sub 1, right? He was
we missed
dominant.
him this season.
His ERA plus was 630, which is unheard of. So, not sustainable, but still went out on a high note. Unfortunately, did have the injury to his right ulnar nerve, so had surgery. Might not be back until midseason. So that was a big hit.
Yeah.
I don't know if Bryant's healthy and Kinley's healthy. We're talking about, an 80-win team. We're still not talking about the postseason, but we are talking about completing the hunt. I think with Bryant and Kinley, the hunt would have been complete.
It would have been complete. I think we would have gotten maybe 70 wins. Who knows? We'll never know.
Or one less than 70, whatever that number is.
I think my life's greatest heartbreak was the Rockies getting so close to 69 wins and not sealing the deal.
All right. Well, you should check out how many strikeouts Daniel Bard had this season. We'll come back to that later. But number 5, officially, we're on the list for the Blaze Street Bombers. Mr. Kyle Freeland, the opening day starter, was the only guy with a sub 5 ERA, 4.53 ERA, 103 ERA plus, and an expected FIP, or basically, hey, if you kind of throw out the defense, he was exactly what his ERA ended up being. Fangraphs, Fangraphs' version of WAR was a little bit more favorable to Freeland, which in the past usually hasn't been the case. 2.4 B WAR, 2.6 F WAR, and again, as we mentioned, the 31 starts this season, was really important when there weren't a ton of really good options. They had to get Jose Urena off the scrap heap, and so Freeland went out there every 5 days when Bud Black needed him.
Also, wait, Kyle Freeland had a 3.08 ERA on the road?
Yes, that actually is the...
That's real?
Yes. So, yes. He, not too much has been made about that, actually, until right now, until we make something of it.
I feel like we have not been talking about this.
It's actually the third best ERA of any Rocky starter with 15 starts. So, you've got only Ubaldo in 2010 and Marquez in 2018 with a better. There's a couple other guys, like if you lower it to 11, 12, 13 starts, whatever it may be. But for a true full season where you're pitching half your games, 15 or more games on the road, the only 2 guys have ever been better than Kyle Freeland. That season that we just saw.
Wow.
You kind of forget that. That gets lost in the mediocrity, so to speak, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, so kudos to Kyle Freeland. Number 5 on our Blaze Street Bombers.
Yes.
Number 4 on the list, Ryan McMahon. I'm almost surprised that he was able to work his way on this list when we're making it, because you go, how his season started. He almost had a more prolonged version of a season that Brendan Rodgers had. Yeah. Not as bad as, 087, whatever that magic number was, but it was still not good.
Yeah. He struggled this year, and, you have to wonder, obviously we expected him to improve from last year, not to have these struggles. Yeah. And I think there was talk about, is he getting in his head? Is he just doing too much? But look at Rymax sneaking his way onto our list.
Yeah, one of only 2 guys to have 20 homers this season. He was 20 on the nose there. Hit only 246, but 67 RBI. Had the most games played at 153. So again, he's going out there. Did it at third. Did it at second base. 98 OPS plus, so slightly below average there. Average being 100. 3.0 B WAR, 3.1 F WAR on that. And then defensively, he was very good again. Had 10 DRS and 10 outs above average. As far as defensive run saves is concerned, was tied for 4th in Major League Baseball, 3rd in the National League with outs above average, 3rd in Major League Baseball and National League. That being said, I don't think he's going to be a finalist for the Gold Glove Award at third base.
No.
I had a conversation with a friend of mine where we were looking at the numbers, and we'll get to that conversation a little bit with somebody else on this list, where there's some defensive metrics that really likes a guy, but at the end of the day, the voters, the coaches that vote on the Gold Glove Award, They do use defensive run saves as part of the equation, but they're going to look at the number of errors that he made and just kind of write him off for that first half of the season. You also know Nolan's going to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian Hayes was a guy who broke out last year and backed it up again this year, had the most defensive run saves with 24. So I really think he's going to be on that list. And then Manny Machado is always kind of there. I think that might end up squeezing out Ryan McMahon, and he is not going to be a finalist. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't a finalist.
No. Yeah, and again, a lot of that has to go with just seeing him play every day. When you saw Nolan play every day, you always saw something incredibly special. And with McMahon, he doesn't make a lot of those kind of dazzling plays. I mean, no one makes plays that Nolan makes.
Yeah.
But he's just really consistent, and he's getting to balls that, again, maybe our eyes can't quite pick up and give him credit for. So again, defensive metrics like him all around evenly. It's balanced, so it's consistent. But I don't know, looking at him, you go, holy smokes, this has to be, bar none, one of the top third basemen in all the game. He's obviously very good, but there's something that the eye can't quite pick up that these metrics can.
Yeah, no Gold Glove. He does get the Holy Glove award because his glove had a big hole in it.
Yes.
Swiss cheese glove.
Maybe he can get that bronzed?
Ooh, I like that. Make it a statue.
That could work.
His not sentimental glove.
Yes, not at all. It was more sentimental to us a little bit, right?
I was more sentimental about that glove than he was.
And how long he had in his life. Well, the other guy that this ties in with when you talk about defense, number 3 on the Blaze Street Bombers was Brendan Rodgers, 266, 13 home runs, 63 RBI. Baseball Reference likes him a lot more. Baseball Reference, their version of WAR is based on the end results, whereas Fangraphs, they typically look at probably what should have happened, which a lot of people probably don't care for that because you say, wait, you're taking credit away from me, and maybe you're giving credit to a guy who got unlucky, which you like that part, but you don't like the idea of saying, hey, I was really good this year, but you're telling me I wasn't because maybe a couple extra balls barely got over the wall or dropped in, whatever it was. But according to Baseball Reference, he was tops in wins above replacement from May 1st to August 31st, 4 months. We'll throw out April, which you can't actually do. You throw out September
but
and
October. But you sure can try.
Well, we're gonna try here.
We're gonna try.
He hit 301 for those 4 months from May, June, July, and August. 11 homers, 59 RBI. So that's where he did most of his damage over the course of a 162-game season. That would actually come out to 17 homers, 92 RBI. And you say, that's the Brendan Rodgers we hope we get, but it's really hard to do that for 6 months as opposed to 4.
Yes, it's all easier said than done.
He's getting closer to putting it all together for sure. And defensively, he was very good. Did make a lot of diving plays. So again, our eyes actually tell us, No, he was legitimately very good. And according to defensive run saves, he was tops among all second basemen, second in all of baseball, 22 DRS. But then when you look at outs above average by StatCast, he's only at 3 right there. Did make his fair share of errors. So I think he's another guy that, again, despite DRS really pushing him up, I don't know if he becomes a finalist. That's hard. I think McMahon and Rodgers have almost the exact same shot at being a finalist. McMahon's got harder competition, but maybe a better pedigree, like better numbers to suggest that he really is the player that the metrics show. Whereas with Rodgers, the competition isn't quite as stiff, but voters, again, they might look at his errors. It's his first year on the scene. A lot of times it takes 2 years before voters and coaches recognize a guy and say, hey, you know who was really good last year, who we missed? Like
yeah, that's a good point.
Like the experts almost have to tell you, like, oh man, you guys really dropped the ball with this player. And so now next year I'm going to keep an extra eye on him and go, yeah, you know what? Actually, he was pretty good. So Brendan Rodgers, number 3 on the Blaze Street Bombers. Number 2, The Light Show, Daniel Bard.
You know what? Not on this list just because of The Light Show. He actually did. He was great this season. 1.79 ERA.
Fantastic. Yes. 34 saves, 1 light show. But every save opportunity at night. Actually, we should probably try to find out. We probably got it between both of our phones.
Oh.
Filmed every single light show and figure out and have an exact number.
We never missed a light show.
His save percentage for light shows was probably 100% because he only blew 2 saves, was 34 of 36 in save opportunities. Second in save percentage, only behind Houston Street, who in 2009, Rockies fans out there remember this, he was 35 for 37, dominant. Second lowest ERA for a reliever all time in Rockies history. Rick's brothers in 2013 had a 1.74 ERA, and his ERA plus of 262 is the second highest in Rockies history for any pitcher with 50 innings pitched. Gabe White was the only one who bested him. Please be honest. Have you ever heard of Gabe White?
Nope.
I know that's honesty right there. Yes. Ask yourself out there, if you're watching this or listening to this, have you ever heard of Gabe White? At least 50% of people are saying no.
Yeah, I don't. Also, 2000 wasn't really a year that I was tuned into the Rockies.
When you're like a lefty reliever that's just kind of like brought in for nothing. I think he was around for like a year and a half. And again, was really good. These types of, sabermetrics weren't really popular at the time. So nothing was really, made of it very much. So Gabe White is forgotten history. That's why we need the Hall of Fame. That's why Rockies need a museum. So you go, holy crap, this Gabe White guy was pretty good for a season. Well, Daniel Bard right there with him. We also saw late in the year, became only the 5th pitcher since the save was invented in 1969 to have 2 out save or more, striking out all 6 or more batters that he faced in a save. And I know you wrote about this earlier this year. Did a nice job in the process of having a good season, giving back to the community.
Yes, he had started a fundraiser for Fill the Void, amp the cause to end hunger. So every time for every one of his strikeouts, he pledged $300. And then the Rockies Foundation was matching that too.
Right.
So he raised $41,400 for that
awesome.
Organization, which is very generous. That's absolutely incredible. It's going to help a lot of people.
Yeah, that was really awesome to see. Was really good as according to wins above replacement, both Fangraphs and Baseball Reference. But number one, the man that got our thumbnail for the day, if you're watching over on YouTube, if not, flip over. Get to see some of our awesome graphics that super producer Kale made for us on the DNVR Sports channel. But C.J. Cron, Suzie, this is going to anger you.
This is going to anger me.
Not this part, but the fact that, according to wins above replacement, they think C.J. Cron is almost like an average player. Like if we were just looking at wins above replacement and you just sorted by that, he would just barely get an honorable mention. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, I hate that.
Yes, because a replacement first baseman that might be wallowing away down in AAA is going to be pretty decent, right? He's going to be able to mash. He's going to be able to hit. While playing, competent defense. So, you have a 29 homer season like Cron did with 102 RBI, career high for him in the Ribbies. That's only slightly better than what that guy down at AAA would have gotten. So that's kind of one of those unfortunate things. But we know here in Colorado, it was all about Cron, the lone all-star for the Rockies. 107 OPS plus, the only one over 100 there. And defensively, was solid. I think he got a bad reputation at the beginning of last season and really started correcting that late last year. We saw it at the beginning of this season, was really good. Had you seen a lot more of Daniel Murphy play, you would have appreciated how good C.J. Cron was. Not Gold Glove, but still great job. That's what a first baseman needs to do over there. And so he was really solid. So
yeah, it's such a disappointment though that he did not hit that 30 home run milestone.
Yes. And
so disappointing.
So now, of course, we have 3 consecutive years without someone hitting 30 homers and 100 RBI. That's a decent drought. That's a decent sized drought to not have.
I expect just a little more here when we're playing baseball on the moon.
Yeah. And you know what? You should be able to expect 15% off when you're down in the corner of Colfax, New York at the DNVR bar. Because if you're a member, that's what you get. So a bigger beer was cool, but now a bigger price break on all your meals.
It's a great price break.
It really is. I crunched the numbers, honestly. And there was a couple of people I reached out to. I'm like, if you're not a member, because I've seen you in the bar a bunch, and I know, and here's how many visits, pretty quickly you're very easily going to get your money back for an annual membership, which you also get a free shirt on top of that from DNVR Locker. You get price breaks on tailgates, extra tickets at the raffle if you're at any of our watch parties here at the DNVR Bar, and access to the members only Discord, which is friggin' fantastic, much like what the folks over at DraftKings are doing. When you go ahead and sign up at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, you can just bet $5 on any NFL team to win, and you're going to get $200 in free bets if they do, because it's big plays, even bigger wins. They also got the stepped-up same-game parlays that make things so much sweeter. It allows you to do that once per game day, all season long. And it's fantastic. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code DNVR to get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet. That's code DNVR only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See link in the description for details. Now, tomorrow, Susie, we'll talk about the division series and do a preview. But look, DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week. I'm jumping in on it now just before the line ends up changing. But I like the Cleveland Guardians' chance to take down the Yankees.
I like this too.
I really do. Like, you got to be able to hit the home run in the postseason, which the Yankees do and the Guardians don't. Mm-hmm. But I like the Guardians pitching a lot more than I like the Yankees. Mm-hmm. I like the momentum. It'll be so interesting to see what happens with the delay and the break for these teams that get a first round bye.
Yeah.
How much that may help or hurt them. But right now it's plus 160 for Cleveland to win the series, which I like. Even better, you can actually go in and choose the makeup of that win. So you can either just say, hey, Cleveland's going to win it, plus 160. But if you say, you know what, I think they're going to win in 4, it doesn't matter where they're going to win those games. But if they're going to win in 4, that's plus 550. So if you take Cleveland 3-1, you just tripled your odds. You just tripled your payout. Yeah, so my DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week, I'm going with the Cleveland Guardians to beat the Yankees in
how
4
many
games this week. I'm going to go 4.
You're going to go in 4? Okay, I like this.
I'm going to go 4. I think that's what it's going to be. Let's get a Arizona Fall League update. Salt River Rafters, our team, 0-6.
Yeah, not great.
But
it doesn't count. It doesn't count.
No, but what does count is Zach Veen, second in the league in OPS, 1.42 on the back of he had a double. He had a homer, launched one, looking great. He was mic'd up. I think if you go to the MLB app.
I saw that he was mic'd up. I haven't watched it yet.
Yes. That was fun. He was like, hey, guys, by the way, I'm mic'd up, so careful what you say. So
you always have to tell everyone around you when you're mic'd up. I'm mic'd up.
You got it. Yes, you definitely have to. 4 RBI, 4 walks. Only 1 strikeout. You like that. He's putting the ball in play and not swinging and missing. Also has 4 stolen bases to 1 caught stealing. So that's been really nice. Warming Bernabel, Grant Levine are both there. They've both gotten into 3 games. It's only been 1 week, so you can get hyped up if you want on how good Zach Veen's been playing, because that's the start you want. But if you're not playing as well like a Warming Bernabel, that's okay. He's still a super young prospect that's probably going to be on the 40-man.
Would you say he's
November.
Just warming up?
You could say that.
You could
say that. Yes, we hope he's heating Bernabel, and he's heating up, In Fuego Bernabel? Yeah, we got to save some of these nicknames. Get Eric on the horn. We got a shirt to make.
Love that one.
We'll tell the printer, you've got like a year and a half, 2 years before we actually need to get these shirts in stock, because he's going to be down in the minors for a while. But Levine has played really well, 3 doubles, hitting 462. Braxton Fulford, a catching prospect, is down there as well. And then for the pitchers, Peter Lambert has thrown 2 innings, again, 1 week. So he's just had that 1 debut. And then 2 guys with great names that are on opposite ends of the spectrum. One on the shorter side, one on the longer side. Blair Calvo and Phineas Dominic Del Monte Smith. No, it's Del Bonta. Mm-hmm. I threw in the middle name there because we like middle names here on the show.
We love middle names.
This is a big middle name show.
Big middle name show right here. This is, the Rockies farm system has some of my favorite names in baseball. So that alone makes it very exciting to look towards the future.
I had seen his name mostly as, at least I thought, as Finn Del Bonta Smith.
Oh, interesting.
But on the Arizona Fall League page, and now a couple other spots I've been looking, he's going by Phineas.
He's
embracing it.
Is it like a Josh to Joshua situation?
I think it just might be he prefers one over the other, and people have just kind of gone with whatever. It's kind of like when Roberto Clemente first came up, his rookie card said Bob Clemente, because that's just kind of, people say, we're not going to recognize your ethnicity and embrace who you are. You're Bob. Okay, Bob Clemente.
I don't like that one bit.
Me neither. So they might have done that with Phineas and be like, man, that's too Irish. We're just going to call you Finn. I don't know what the deal is, but Phineas Del Bonta Smith, keep your eye out for him pitching late in games. All right, let's get to some new logos. So last year, you might have remembered, it might have been late in the year, I was like, I don't know what this is. Marvel and minor league baseball getting together. I thought it was just going to be a bunch of different uniforms. Because that is common. They do that where it's like, oh, the Yard Goats, their shirt looks like Iron Man, but maybe it's blue and green.
And you know what? Also, superhero nights are super common at minor league baseball teams. Like, those are some of the biggest family nights of the whole season.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Yeah, it's great. So 96 different teams have kind of jumped in on this Marvel's Defenders of the Diamond thing that's rolling out for next season and the following in 2024.
Yeah.
And each team is getting their own logo. They're getting like a comic book themed.
Yeah. They're basically
like comic book.
They're like superhero-ifying all of these logos.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, so they pumped it up. So we should probably go with this one last, but you know what? They've been waiting. Let's see the Hartford logo. Let's see the Hartford Marvels logo. It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. It doesn't look like someone from Marvel drew it, but
no, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's okay, but this is like the first iteration. You got the cape on it. You got the Chivas head, right? You got the goat head on it, which is all right. The yellowy eyes, and you go, yeah, that's like a superhero version.
Yeah, he looks pretty strong.
Actually, he doesn't. I'm not seeing any like definition in the biceps.
Actually, that's a really good point. There's no definition in there. He's just a beefy boy.
Yeah, does have 5 fingers on his hand, which is good. Still has the goat hooves. But let's look at some of the other ones, and these are a little bit more fleshed out, I think. So, Kale, if you just want to kind of almost hit them rapid fire, you got the Durham Bull.
He's adorable.
Okay, he's a little bulkier.
Jacked.
Yeah, he's a little more jacked there. Now this one definitely has like the comic book vibe for the Syracuse Mets.
He looks like a villain, honestly.
Well, it's Mets. So.
If I'm gonna be quite honest, the Syracuse Mets logo looks like a.
Now this guy.
This is hilarious.
Stockton Ports.
This team is going undefeated
with
next year.
Yes, with the asparagus, which they use as part of their logos. I mean, it's almost like Popeye and a G.I. Joe character combined. So that one looks pretty good. Now this one, I think they did a very good job. It is very much reminiscent of, oh shoot, I forgot his name. Kale's going to jump in.
Rocket Raccoon.
I thought it was Rocket Raccoon. I doubted myself. Now, and also noticing the detail in like his widow's peak area or between his eyes, it's a rocket.
It's a rocket.
Rocket City Trash Pandas.
He looks scary too.
Yeah, this looks like a legit character. Like this looks like a real character. Oh, and I realized in the little circle, like that's his astronaut helmet.
Yeah, that's his helmet.
How about that?
Yeah, he looks scary.
So
like I would not mess with
these are
Rocket
more
City
fleshed
Trash
out.
Pandas.
Yeah, these are more fleshed out. And you go, Hartford Yard Goats are okay.
Ooh, the Binghamton Rumble Ponies. It's just this iron horse on fire. Yes.
Not bad, right?
Yes,
Not bad.
Please.
That one's good. So Hartford, might be at the bottom of the depth charts from the ones that we saw. Oh, there's my hometown.
Oh my! I love the Jersey Shore Blue Claws.
Yes, this is a good one. Now he's on the smaller side, so we're gonna need some backstory. Does he get
larger?
Look at
his
like
abs.
Ant-Man?
Like he's got a 6-pack going on.
6, but each of those packs are like a centimeter because he's a small
it's the
crab.
Angle.
Although, is that a full size board? So maybe he's actually human sized. Look, that's why we got to read the comics now. Between MILB and Marvel crossover.
Listen, he's got the claws though. He can't be too big, or he's just gonna be too scary.
That's true.
You gotta remember those pinchers, crab pinchers. Have you ever been pinched by a crab?
I don't think so.
Really?
No.
Mr. Jersey Shore's never been pinched by a crab?
I've never been pinched by a co-host either, but I've come close in both situations. And now, hey, to get you hyped up, Spokane and Fresno, they are part of the 96. So not every team is getting it. There's 24 teams that are just not going to get a cool logo.
By choice or like...
I don't know.
The Marvel artists were like, we can't do anything with this.
They're like, this is so bad. But good news, Albuquerque, they're getting theirs at noon today. So
so by the time this podcast is done, we'll have those.
You can go out and look, and then after the show, let's get to our end of year chatter, because we got to get to that.
We do, yes. We made some predictions at the beginning of this season.
Do you want to go through our good predictions first or the bad predictions first? I'll let you call it.
Let's go through the bad predictions first.
All right, so this is going to be the ones with the names, where we did our MVP picks, Cy Young Award, whether you got the AL or the National League, Kale, whatever one you want to pop up first is what we'll do. So we missed the mark a little bit. Vlad Guerrero Jr., I feel like Vlad's gonna come up a little bit higher maybe than Trout, but it's all about Ohtani and Judge. And I think, again, I'm not gonna say that we are contrarians, but we don't like going with the chalk all the time, right? Would you say that? I don't know. You're someone that likes to go.
I think that's fair. I think you
want to go against the grain, but you want to have a unique pick. So, all right, Vlad Guerrero Jr., Mike Trout, we whiffed on that. That's okay. Cy Young Award. Garrett Cole's going to get some votes. He might be second or third. Jose Barrios, 5 ERA. He was, cover your ears, kids, dog shit.
Oh!
He was awful this year. I was banking on him to take a big step forward. There's always someone who takes a step forward. I did much better in the National League Cy Young pick predictions. Yeah. So that was bad. And you, my friend,
Me.
Julio Rodriguez. I think you've nailed that one there. Bobby Witt Jr. is gonna give him a run for it, but I think J-Rod is probably going to win it. Not run away, only because Bobby Witt Jr. is also a really good candidate.
Yeah.
So they might split some of the votes. I think J-Rod will still get at least 20 first place votes. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I think I got this one for sure.
Yeah. Oh no, you definitely did, and even if you're not, I still might have to give it to you. And then Manager of the Year.
Oof.
Now both our guys got fired, but John Schneider still got Toronto in there as the top wild card team. So I may just have to sneak a half a credit. So I should have next year. I'm going to go.
I know that I lost the manager predictions because the two managers that I picked for the AL and NL got fired first, very early in the season too.
Yeah, yes.
So that's fine. I accept my failure.
I'm not going to accept mine. I am going to try to steal a half a win and say I did pick Toronto's manager. So we'll see. I don't know that he's going to win. I think it'll be Terry Francona. Who ends up winning that for Cleveland.
Yeah, I think that's a good guess. It's a good amended guess.
Yeah, in the National League for MVP, you had Juan Soto, who, I think he had an opportunity with San Diego to run away with it. So he was there for it. Bryce Harper was just too hurt. It's kind of thinking he would do the unthinkable and go back-to-back MVPs. Walker Buehler also got hurt. Your pick. And Max Fried, I think he might be like third in voting, possibly behind Sandy Alcantara, who's probably the favorite there. So I kind of went outside the box on that, came somewhat close. Seiya Suzuki really disappointed both of us.
Yeah.
We matched that pick. It's going to be somebody from Atlanta, either Michael Harris the second or Spencer Strider. Breaking news, he signed a 7-year contract extension.
Yes.
Was it 7? 75 mil.
They got a lot of those young guys locked in.
Yeah.
For a long time.
That's a good deal.
Yeah.
Taking care of him, getting him locked up. Then Manager of the Year, Bo Mel. I mean, he still got the Padres to the postseason, but it wasn't pretty.
It was not pretty.
He'll get a couple third place votes, I think, but yeah, for the most part.
Now,
and maybe Rob Thompson. Yes.
Do I get a half a point because you gave yourself a half a point? So I predicted Joe Girardi was going to be Manager of the Year on the contingent that the Phillies made the postseason. So they did.
So you basically picked Phillies manager. So yes, you can also use that.
I can take a half a point.
Crazy ass rationale that I'm using.
The first guy fired this year.
Yes. So you win that award. All right, but it gets better with our postseason predictions. 12 teams this year, 6 from the AL, 6 from the NL. Between the two of us, how many do you think we missed? Of the 12 teams, how many did we miss?
Ooh, I want to say 5.
We only missed 2.
We only missed 2.
Yes, Cleveland
we're so good at this.
And I forgot who the other one was. We'll remember. Oh, the Mets. We both didn't like the Mets. And we were right because they're already gone. Yeah. But we both missed out on Cleveland and the Mets. Otherwise, Go ahead, Kale. Whatever our next one is up. American League. Yeah. So in the East, we both had Toronto. They did make it in. Yankees eventually was there. I did have Yankees making the wild card, so I did have that one. I did have 5 of the 6 teams in the American League. We did have Houston in the AL West, so we nailed that. We both missed out on the White Sox, just like most people did.
We expected so much more from the White Sox, as did White Sox fans, as did our friends out with CHGO.
Very true. Very true. And then, for the wild cards, we both had Seattle, which was good. I did have Tampa Bay. LA and Boston were your other 2. And then in the National League, I did have Atlanta winning the East. We both had LA winning the West. Milwaukee both disappointed us. We were 0 for 2 there in the Central. That's it. We can't figure out the Midwest.
No one can figure out the Midwest.
But hats off to you. You had St. Louis going to the postseason as a wildcard team. I didn't. So you picked us up.
You thought they were going to miss it altogether.
Yes, you picked us up on that. You did have Atlanta as a wild card there. I did have Philly and San Diego.
I thought San Francisco was going to do something after that 107-win season last year.
We both did, and they disappointed. But altogether, we got 10 out of the 12. You ended up hitting on 7. I ended up hitting on 9. So it's pretty good.
Pretty good.
I think that was pretty good.
I think we read the room pretty well.
Some of my predictions did have Toronto going to the World Series. I had a couple of units in different places, to diversify. I think I had Toronto going to the World Series in one. Boom, they're already done.
Yeah.
Here I had Milwaukee going to the NLCS against the Dodgers. So that didn't happen.
Wow.
So look, hey, we can't read a crystal ball. We can read auras. Is Mercury in retrograde?
Maybe that was what happened. No. Mercury's not in retrograde.
Of course not.
And it wasn't in retrograde when we picked this stuff, but we can read the vibes. This whole organization is built on vibes.
Could be.
All of DNVR is just like vibes first.
Yeah. Well, we are getting some great vibes from Game Time Tickets right now, and they're giving us good vibes. We got to share it around. We got a link in our description for you to save and join over 15 million people who've got seats on the 50-yard line, courtside, sitting on the floor, or up in those first 5 rows at Red Rocks when they end up doing that. And you can get those tickets up to 60% off when you use the Game Time app. I've done it for shows at Red Rocks. It's friggin' phenomenal. We know that, for Rockies games, you can get tickets for next year in Rockies games, but you may very much want to wait, especially the weekday games.
Yes.
Those are the ones that you can really take advantage of and get the 60% or even better than as a discount. So those are the ones that you can wait on. And that's kind of the cool thing. Again, if you're downtown and you want to wait and you're like, I got some friends up at the rooftop, well, you can, just decide to show up, an hour before the game. You don't have to get tickets months in advance with Game Time. It's super, super convenient.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah, I'm looking at the prices right now. They're a little high right now. Well, I'll wait it out.
Yeah.
I'll wait it out.
I think so. Game Time is going to allow you to save money, wait it out, go to some other concerts before the Rockies come back. You can definitely do it for the Broncos. That's one of the cool things, too, that we've heard a couple people. They'll come to the tailgate, either ours or maybe they've got some other friends to tailgate, and they'll just kind of wait around and swoop in on Game Time. Super efficient for you to save some good money. And if you're trying to save some good money and eat some good food, well, you can only do that with Hassel Cattle Company, HASSELLE company.com.
We know Patrick can spell. This is huge.
Well, and look, I can spell because I've got protein coursing through my body. We had barbecue last night.
Yes, we did.
Again, great beef comes from Hassel Cattle Company, comes from ranchers down there in Texas. Family owned, best damn Wagyu beef you will ever eat. I did not know what I was missing out on until I had some Wagyu from Hassel Cattle Company. It's literally the choice of home cooks all across the country for, if you want to grill up something nice. It's getting cool outside, so now when you stand by the grill, that's a nice little experience.
That's like the best feeling, grilling in the fall.
Yes, it really is. It's the blue collar American Wagyu because it's top shelf and yet it's affordable. Hassel Cattle Company Wagyu beef can be shipped anywhere in just days. If you want to get a taste before purchasing, head out to any of our tailgates. Again, if you're a member, you get a price break on those tailgates. It's another reason to party with DNVR and enjoy a delicious smoked sausage off the grill. My mouth is watering. I'm trying to contain it all right now because it's getting to lunchtime.
And lunchtime. I'm hungry.
I had the barbecue last night. The hot dogs that they have actually are like phenomenal. Like I know that's not like Wagyu, that's not like sirloin or New York strip steak, but it's quality from Hassel Cattle Company. Go to HassleCattleCompany.com to secure your bag of beef and use code DNVR20 for 20% off your entire purchase. That's DNVR20 for 20% off. Susie, Seattle did it.
They did it. I hated to see George Springer get hurt the way he did in the process.
Times. Yeah.
But, man, that was really exciting for Seattle.
That was that's the only way to like start. If we're gonna recap all the wild card series. Well,
because we're a Mariners podcast now.
Tangentially, yes.
I'm showing up in a Mariners hat tomorrow.
You are. Mm-hmm. You own one?
I do own one. Get one. No, I have one.
Okay.
From my travels.
You have one for all 30 teams?
No. I did not buy 30 hats. I bought some hats. This hat I actually won in one of those, those ballpark games where like a bank will be like, spin the wheel and see what prize you get. So I won a hat. Didn't buy it. No, you can't buy a hat when you go to all 30 stadiums because hats are like $40.
They're very expensive. They're very expensive. Kale, are you in on the Mariners train? You want to jump in on this?
All in on the Mariners, yeah.
Choo-choo.
Choo-choo. Let's go.
Yes, no, they are so fun. Game 1, Luis Castillo, acquire him in trade. He does the job of that mercenary of coming in, dominating. And then the second largest postseason comeback in postseason history. Their win probability, Kale, let's look at this. Their win probability was 1%. Look at how low it was to 100% for Toronto having won that game. Then it swooped up to 2%. But in the 5th inning, 1%. I can't even imagine had you gone in on DraftKings Sportsbook to say, all right, let me put $1 on it.
Yeah.
You would have won a lot of money. That was just fantastic. Our guy, Kevin Gausman from Colorado, pitched really well, came out with the bases loaded. Those runs ended up scoring, but before that, only walked 1, struck out 7 in 5 2/3 innings pitched. And here is a crazy stat. So Teoscar Hernandez hit 2 home runs in that game. Mm-hmm. It's the 3rd time a Blue Jay has hit 2 home runs in a postseason game, and all 3 times it's happened, the Jays were eliminated from the postseason.
Oh, no.
Jose Bautista in 2015 in the ALDS against the Royals in Game 6 with Tulo right by his side. 2 years ago during the pandemic season. Today it is?
Today it is, yeah.
I did not know that.
Libra season.
The Deuce. Number 2, Troy Tulowitzki. Danny Jansen in the wild card round. The first time we got a taste of that, that's when all teams ended up playing. That was wild. He hit 2 in Game 2, and then on Saturday, that's pretty crazy that they ended up getting eliminated. But the reason why Seattle won, wasn't clutch hitting, wasn't big dumper. Cal Raleigh, on a scale of 1 to 10, Kale, a catcher with a big booty whose nickname is Big Dumper. How much do we like that for the Mariners?
We love that for the Mariners. It's a 10 out of 10.
All right, Kale is even more on board with his Mariners fandom right now. He's like, Big Dumper? Okay, let's go.
Respectfully.
And this is another reason why they're having fun. They're getting a little wacky. They had like a watch party over at T-Mobile Park, and a superfan named Ben decided to come up with a shoe hat, a rally hat. Ben goes and puts his Birkenstock on the top of his head, and that is what got it done. And so now everyone in Seattle, they're tying shoes to their head. There's Ben with his Birkenstock.
Wow. Everyone's
and his
loving
inside-out cap.
it.
He got it started. Apparently, he wears the exact same size shoe as his girlfriend. Super convenient. He ended up, there's more people with shoes on their head and trying to tuck it in under their cap.
What a
because
phenomenon.
It works. And best yet, he signed it and the Mariners put it in their checks notes. Hall of Fame. Yes, Mariners have a Hall of Fame.
Mariners have a
Their
Hall of Fame.
team Hall of Fame. Now this guy's already iconic. I'm just waiting because Seattle's still alive. Birkenstock has got to back up the truck to unload some Birks for this guy.
They should have let him hold on to that shoe through the end of the season.
Maybe.
Because obviously it's good luck.
Yeah. But the team has, and he still has one. So if they go far, he can still sell that one. That's his Aaron Judge ball.
I mean like not like for selling purposes. I mean,
you don't want to mess it up.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to change the vibe. Once you've already established that one thing works, you don't want to get rid of the thing that works.
That's Suzie Hunter pointing out why Seattle is now going to lose against the Houston Astros.
No, don't put that out in the universe.
No, that's on them. That's for them for doing that.
This is a Mariners podcast now.
They will play the Houston Astros. We'll talk about that on Tuesday's live show. The other angle to this, too, that's kind of disappointing because we said last week, Seattle and Toronto were neck and neck. I agree Seattle was more exciting than Toronto. But Toronto was still really exciting along with Cleveland. Mm-hmm. Toronto, now we're going to miss out. We're not going to get a Bombers reunion with Dante Bichette showing up to Blue Jays games to support his son, Bo.
Yeah.
And Larry Walker, Canadian treasure, Canadian Hall of Famer, throwing out the first pitch along with like a bunch of old Expos. Not going to happen.
Darn it.
Not going to happen.
Darn it.
That's all right. That's how it goes. All right, Tampa Bay and Cleveland. 2-game sweep for Cleveland. Game 1. Shane and Jose beat Shane and Jose. I think it was the first time ever a pitcher gave up a home run to a guy whose teammate gave up a home run by a pitcher. Shane Bieber gave Jose Siri hit a home run off of him, and then Jose Ramirez hit a home run off of Shane McClanahan. I love this stuff.
That is that's a very specific stat, Patrick.
It's called Patty stat.
It's a Patty stat for a reason.
15-inning game in Cleveland.
Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
4 hours, 57 minutes. It was the longest scoreless game in history. It was scoreless even after 13. And you know what they did in the 14th inning, Suzie? They had the 14th inning stretch.
And that's adorable.
That is great.
That's fantastic, you should.
We're doubling 7. Let's freaking do it. Oscar Gonzalez walks it off with a home run. Knew it off the bat. Believe land. And we've got Seattle. They like Believe too. But Believe land, they're still alive. They're going against the New York Yankees. And there's a rumor that they might win in 4. I don't know. I've heard sources. You're starting to learn that. I just talk to myself in my own head, and then I supply all the sources. Oh, this guy's on the trade block. Did you say that to yourself? Sometimes that is true.
Yes.
You probably don't want to talk about the Phillies series at all, do you?
No. Okay, I'd hate to talk about the Philadelphia Phillies sweeping the Cardinals.
They did. Yeah, they won both games. Game one was bad. I was listening to that. Harper was up, I think, in the 8th inning, struck out. I'm like, oh man, Bryce, this was a big moment for you. Lo and behold, had no idea. Phillies were going to bat around in the top of the 9th.
Yep.
They get 6 runs, ground ball to the left side. Arenado probably should have grabbed, didn't. So no error because he didn't really actually make a play on that ball. Mm-hmm. And, kind of demoralize St. Louis. St. Louis was 93-0 in the postseason in their history going into the 9th with a 2-0 lead or greater.
Wow.
So it's impossible for the Phillies to win it. They won it.
Yeah.
They won it.
You know what? I might have said this on Twitter, but all Nolan Arenado wanted to do was win the division. And then he lost in the wild card round to a team that only placed 3rd in theirs.
Careful what you wish for.
Careful what you wish for, Nolan.
You rub the genie, you got to make sure, or the monkey's paw. You wish for something, you don't realize what ends up happening because of it. Yes. Mm-hmm. He was 1 for 8 in the series. I think he's 156 all time in the postseason. We'll talk with Kevin Henry on Wednesday. He's out in Houston.
Nice.
We'll talk to him after game 1 there in that series against Seattle. But we'll kind of discuss as Arenado gotten what he's wished for. He's won 1 game in the postseason, the 2018 wildcard game against the Cubs at Wrigley Field. He's won 0 postseason games with the St. Louis Cardinals. But he's got his division championship. He has an opt-out clause. We'll talk with Kevin Henry on Wednesday all about that at 11 a.m. live on the DNVR Sports channel to find out, will he opt out? Because that is a very loaded topic.
That is loaded.
2. Yeah, no, it is. We could be talking about that for like a month.
It sounds like we're going to.
Is there anything else to talk about? But yeah, hats off to Philadelphia for getting that job done. And they don't reseed. So although Philadelphia was the last team to get in the postseason, they're not going to play the number 1 seed LA Dodgers. They're going to go to Atlanta. So we're going to have an interesting NL East matchup there as far as that's concerned. And then we're going to have a NL West matchup because the Padres got it done in 3 games. They were able to get by Max Scherzer in game 1. 4 homers off Mad Max.
Did not see that one coming. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. I have not done a wellness check on the Mets fans, I know, but I can imagine they are not well.
I'll give you one wellness checkup on my cousin here in a second here. Game 2, Padres brought the tying run to the plate, but Mets were able to win with DeGrom there. They were thinking about using him for game 3, but hey, the season was on the line at that point. Chris Bassett didn't really have it all that much. He gave up 3 on Sunday night, and a couple Colorado dudes and David Peterson from Colorado and Michael Givens, former Rocky, ended up giving up the other 3. But Joe Musgrove was dominant. Had only gave up 1 hit. Ears and all.
Ears and all.
John Boy has a breakdown on that. Haven't got a chance to watch it yet.
It's a good one.
I imagine it's going to be great. Buck Showalter trying a little something. They check him. He's getting his ears massaged. It was a wild scene at Citi Field, but gives up 1 hit, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts over 7. I said to my cousin, I love you, cuz. We can root for the Mariners, ? And he said, I'm looking at piano lessons. Can't do this anymore. So, Jordan, love you, brother.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mets fans are not okay.
Yeah, they're signing up for piano lessons, and I don't blame them. It's so hard. It's hard.
It's got to be tough. It's got to be tough to be in first place for almost a whole season in your division, and then you don't win the division, and then you are knocked out of the wild card round.
There was a stat at one point in the year. It might have been, June 1st? I think the Mets had a 10.5 game lead, and it was like every team that had a 10.5 game lead by June 1st, and like, here's what happened. World Series, won the World Series. I was knocked off in the NLCS or whatever it was. And, yeah, they didn't. And that's another interesting thing. Mets and Atlanta both had 101 wins. There's no game 163 under this current format, so I don't hear Mets fans chirping about that all that much. Maybe they don't realize it. Maybe they've accepted it. I don't know what, but that will be interesting to see if that's being discussed at all. Game 163s are fun, but you're getting a whole other round kind of in place of it, so you can start up really quickly. Because otherwise, you could have had Atlanta and the Mets playing each other on Thursday, right, the day after the regular season ended.
Yeah.
And then whoever loses immediately then has to go back home, which, because they're within division, you wouldn't have to fly as much. But now you've got a best 2 out of 3 series, so you're not getting any off days. It's similar to what the Rockies faced in 2018 with game 163, then the wild card game, and then having to go to Milwaukee right after that. So it's kind of rough, but too bad, so sad. See, they're donezo. Jacob deGrom, another guy with an opt-out clause.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have that same kind of maybe familial feeling there in New York as maybe Nolan might in St. Louis. So it seems like he's a lot more likelier to opt out. Still could get a payday.
Yeah.
Still could say, like, look, I won't opt out just yet. What's your offer? So before I even go out there. And so he still ends up getting a really good deal, a couple more years, some more money. Interesting thing is, when he's not healthy, which is a lot, what are you paying for? What are you actually getting? So I think that could be part of the discussion this offseason is maybe you want him on a real short-term deal and you pay him big bucks. Otherwise, do you really want to have this guy around, eating up some of your payroll for a team like the Mets? Is not as bad, but he's just hurt a lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of a concern.
We missed a lot of DeGrom time this year.
Yeah. He would be a guy, unlike someone like a Scherzer, that the Rockies, in an absolutely made-up world, you go, all right, would you pay him DeGrom 3 years, $150 million to come to Coors? No. I would have said that for Max Scherzer, which that wasn't even very far off from what he ended up getting. I think it was like 3 years annually for like $42 million or something like that. But with DeGrom, because he's hurt so much, I think you might want to stay away from that. So
yeah, for sure.
But the Rockies don't really have to worry about that too much.
No.
And even if Nolan does opt out, re-sign with the Rockies?
I don't know. I mean, I keep joking Nolan misses the Rockies, but they're completely unfounded tweets.
I think there could be some truth to that. I've also heard, some rumors that maybe Nolan finishes up his career here, after some time has passed, and some people are out of the front office, which that is the case with Jeff Bridich. Yeah. I don't think those fences have been totally demolished. I think you could possibly mend them somewhere down the line, but we are not down the line yet. Nolan Arenado is still a marquee player, and it'll be interesting to see where he fits in the NL MVP conversation between him and Goldschmidt. He's been saying all season long, Goldschmidt is that guy. But again, there's some metrics that suggest maybe Arenado is just as good as Paul Goldschmidt. So we'll be back. You want to do this again tomorrow? What do you say?
Let's do it again tomorrow. We're gonna have this show during the Phillies-Braves game.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, because it's the NL East.
I'm going to have a TV going over where Kale's sitting. He's going to keep me updated.
Folks are going to be sleeping in so that they can follow the NL West Division Series, because that's going to be the interesting one. And we'll have to figure out maybe not who to root for tomorrow, but how to root.
Ooh, right? What interesting.
Like, if yes, this. If no, that. Right?
Are you making a chart?
I might have to.
I think it sounds like you need to make a chart because
a thought diagram.
You need a thought diagram. I think you always need a thought diagram.
Punish Fernando Tatis by having the Padres win, or don't reward him with being a part of that in any capacity. Take down the Dodgers, but then that also means you prop up the Padres. Prop up the Padres. There's our graphic. There we go. We already got it done. We're halfway done with tomorrow's show already. This is great.
Clearly.
We'll break all of that down. We'll also talk about a team with connections to the Rockies who may be undergoing a rebrand.
Ooh.
Savannah Bananas doing some things in the world of the Colorado Rockies. And we'll kind of hand out some fun awards to the 2022 Rockies. Let us know your thoughts. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at DNVR_Rockies. At Patrick D. Lyons is where I'm at.
And you can find me at the Suzie Hunter on all platforms.
This has been a lot of fun. Really good start to the week.
So fun.
I feel like. But you know what they say about momentum?
What do they say?
It's only as good as your next show. So we will talk to you Tuesday at 11 a.m.